And that concludes the court's explanation of the legal aspects of this case. And now, gentlemen of the jury, I come to my final instruction to you. Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You've listened to the testimony and you've had the law read to you and interpreted as it applies to this case. It now becomes your duty to try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. If there is a reasonable doubt, then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then you must, in good conscience, find the accused guilty. However you decide, your verdict must be unanimous. In the event you find the accused guilty, the bench will not entertain a recommendation for mercy. The death sentence is mandatory in this case. I don't envy you your job. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, gentlemen, let's move along.
Want some gum?
No, thanks.
Hey, I'll tell you something. I phoned up for the weather. This is the hottest day of the year. Yeah, I think they at least have some air conditioning or something in here. I almost dropped dead in court.
Okay, gentlemen, everyone's here. If there's anything that you need, I'll be right outside. Just knock.
I never knew they locked the door.
Sure they locked the door. What do you think?
I don't know, it just never occurred to me.
Hey, what are they for?
Well, I figured we might want to vote by ballots.
Oh, great idea. Maybe we can get him elected senator.
How'd you like it?
I don't know, it was pretty interesting.
Really? I was falling asleep.
Well, I mean, I've never been on a jury before.
Really? I've sat on juries, and it always amazes me the way these lawyers can talk and talk and talk, even when the case is as obvious as this one. I mean, do you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled.
Sure they are. Everybody deserves a fair trial. That's the system. Listen, I'm the last one to say anything against it, but I'm telling you, sometimes I think we'd be better off if we took these tough kids and slapped them down before they make trouble, you know? Save us a lot of time and money.
Hey, how about getting started here?
Yeah, let's get this over with. We probably all got things to do.
Well, I was figuring we'd take a 5-minute break. I mean, the old man's in the bathroom.
Are we gonna sit in order?
I don't know.
Not a bad view. What do you think of the case? It had a lot of interest for me. No dead spots, you know what I mean? I'll tell you, we were lucky to get a murder case. I figured it's for a burglary or an assault or something. Those could be the dullest. Say, isn't that the Woolworth building?
Yeah, that's right.
Funny, I've lived here all my life and I've never been in it.
Goddamn waste of time.
Yeah. Can you imagine sitting there for 3 days just for that?
Hey, and what about the business with the knife? I can imagine asking grown-up people to believe that kind of
Well,
bullshit.
you gotta expect that. You know what you're dealing with here.
Yeah, I suppose so. Wow, what are you, got a cold?
And these hot weather colds can kill you. You know, I can hardly touch my nose.
Well, the horn works. Let's dry up the legs, huh? Oh, beautiful. Fan doesn't work. Somebody take a letter to the mayor. Dear Stingy.
Let me take a look at it. Doesn't work.
I didn't get a chance to look at the newspapers today. Anything new going on?
I was wondering how the market's closed.
I wouldn't know. Say, are you on the exchange or something?
I'm a broker.
Really? I run a messenger service. The Beck and Call Company. The name's my wife's idea. I employ 37 people. Started with nothing.
Hey, Mr. Foreman, how about getting started here? What do you say?
All right, gentlemen, let's take seats.
You know, this better be fast. I got tickets to a ball game tonight. Yankees, Cleveland. They got that new kid pitching, Modulewski, whatever his name is. He's a real bulbous kid. A real jug handle. Quite a sports fan, huh? Hey, what do you want us to say?
Well, I was thinking we ought to sit in order of jury numbers. You know, 2, 3, 4, and so on, if that's okay with you gentlemen.
What's the difference?
I think it's reasonable to sit according to number.
Let it be.
Say, what was your impression of the prosecuting attorney?
I beg your pardon?
I thought he was really sharp. I mean, the way he hammered home his points one by one in logical sequence. It takes a good brain to do that. I was very impressed.
Yes, I think he did an excellent job.
I mean, he had a lot of drive, too. Real drive.
Come on, how about getting this show on the road?
How about sitting down? The gentleman at the window. What's it now?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pretty tough to figure, isn't it? Kid kills his father, big, just like that.
Well, if you analyze the figures...
What figures? It's those people. They let their kids run wild up there. Well, maybe it serves them right, you know what I mean?
Hey, you a Yankees fan?
No, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. That's like getting hit on the head with a crowbar once a day. I mean, what do they got? I'm telling you, what do they got except great groundskeepers?
We'd like to get started.
I'm sorry, Milwaukee.
All right, now, you gentlemen can handle this any way you want to. I mean, I'm not going to have any rules. If we want to discuss first and then vote, that's one way, or we can vote right now and see how we stand. Well, that's all I have to say.
I believe it is customary to begin with a preliminary vote.
Yeah, let's vote. Who knows? Maybe we can all go home.
It's up to you. Just let's remember we've got a first-degree murder charge here. If we vote guilty, we send the accused to the electric chair. That's mandatory.
I think we all know that.
Come on, let's vote.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
All right, anybody who doesn't want to vote? All right, this has to be a 12-0 vote either way. That's the law, okay? Are we ready? All those in favor of guilty, raise your hands. 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 for guilty. Not guilty? 1. Right, okay. 11 to 1. Guilty. So now where we stand.
Boy, oh boy, there's always one.
What do we do now?
Well, I guess we talk.
Boy, oh boy.
Look, do you really think he's innocent?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, let's be reasonable. You sat in court and heard the same things we did. The man's a dangerous killer. You can see it.
The man, he's 16 years old.
Well, that's old enough. He knifed his own father 4 inches into the chest.
Look, it was pretty obvious. I mean, I was convinced from the very first day.
Well, who wasn't? I really think this is one of those open and shut things. They proved it a dozen different ways. Would you like me to list them for you?
No,
Now what do you want?
nothing. I just want to talk.
So what you vote not guilty for?
Well, there are 11 votes for guilty. I mean, it's not easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
Well, who says it's easy for me?
No one.
Well, you know, just because I voted fast, I think the kid's guilty. You couldn't talk me out of it if you talked for 100 years.
I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I mean, we're talking about somebody's life here. We can't decide in 5 minutes. Suppose we're wrong.
Suppose we're wrong. Suppose this whole building just fell on my head. You can suppose anything.
That's right.
So suppose it takes 5 minutes. So what?
How do we take an hour? The ball game doesn't start till 8 o'clock.
Okay, Slugger, be my guest.
Well, who's got something to say? How about you?
Oh, not me.
I'm willing to put in an hour.
Great. I heard a pretty good story the other day. Woman comes running into the doctor's office. She's stripped to the waist.
That's not what we're sitting here for.
Well, then you tell me, what are we sitting here for?
Well, maybe for no reason. I don't know. Look, this boy's been kicked around all his life. You know, living in a slum. His mother dead since he was 9. He spent 1.5 years in an orphanage while his father served a jail term for forgery. That's not a very good head start. You know, had a pretty terrible 16 years. I think we owe him maybe a few words, that's all.
I don't mind telling you this, mister. We don't owe him a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? You know how much that trial cost? Well, he's lucky he got it. Look at it. We're all adults here. We all heard the truth. We all heard the facts in court. You're not going to tell us that we're supposed to believe that kid knowing what he is? Listen, I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe a word they say. You know that. I mean, they're born liars.
It suddenly occurs to me that you must be an ignorant man.
What do you mean? What's he talking about?
Do you think you have a monopoly on the truth?
What are you making a federal case out of it for? How do you like this guy?
I think certain things should be pointed out to this man.
All right, it's not Sunday. We don't need a sermon in here.
Monopoly, for Christ's sake?
If we're going to discuss this case, let's stick to the facts.
Right, we have a job to do, now let's do it. Maybe if the gentleman who's disagreeing down there could tell us why. I mean, tell us what he thinks, we can show him where he's probably mixed up.
Now, what are you doing?
Oh, it's one of the products I work on at the ad agency. Rice Pops. The breakfast with the built-in bounce. I wrote that line.
It's very catchy.
Listen, do you mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have this habit of doodling. It keeps me thinking clearly.
Well, we're trying to get someplace here. Like we can sit here forever, or...
Look, maybe this is an idea. I mean, just thinking out loud, but it seems to me it's up to us to convince this gentleman that we're right and he's wrong. Maybe if we each took a minute or two. I mean, it's just a quick thought.
No, I think it's a good one. Supposing we go around the table and order jury numbers.
Yeah, anything. Let's just get started.
Okay, that means you're first.
Oh, well, it's hard to put into words. I just think he's guilty. I mean, I thought it was obvious from the word go. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't even have to open his mouth. That's in the Constitution. You've heard of it?
Well, sure, I've heard of it. I know what it is. The man's guilty. I mean, somebody saw him do it.
Oh, okay. Here's what I think. And I have no personal feelings about this. I'm talking facts. Number one, let's take the old man who lived in the second floor, right under the room where the murder took place. 10 minutes after 12, on the night of the killing, he heard loud noises in the apartment upstairs. He said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid yell out, "I'm going to kill you." A second later, he heard a body fall, and he ran to the door of his apartment, looked out, and saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death at around midnight.
All right, I mean, there are facts for you. You can't dispute facts. This boy is guilty. Listen, I'm a sentimentalist, the next guy. I know the kid's only 16, but he's still got to pay for what he did.
I'm with you, buddy.
It was obvious to me, at any rate, that the boy's entire story was flimsy. Now, he claims he was at the movies during the time of the killing, and yet 1 hour later he couldn't remember the name of the movies or who played in them.
Right. Did you hear that? You're absolutely right.
Nobody saw him going into or out of the theater.
Listen, what about that woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, nothing does.
That's right. She was the one who actually saw the killing.
Let's go in order here.
Just a minute, here's a woman. Here's a woman who's lying in bed. She's dying with the heat, you know what I mean? She can't sleep. Anyway, she looks out her window, and right across the street, she sees the kid stick a knife into his father. The time's 12:10 on the nose. Everything fits. Look, she's known this kid all his life. His window's right opposite hers across the L tracks. And she swore she saw him do it.
Through the windows of a passing elevated train.
That's right. This L train had no passengers on it. It was being moved downtown, remember? The lights were out. And they proved in court that you can look through the windows of a passing L train when the lights are out and see what's happening on the other side. They proved it.
I'd like to ask you something.
Sure.
You don't believe the boy. How come you believe the woman? She's one of them too, isn't she?
You're pretty smart.
Okay, let's hold it down.
Well, what's he so wise about, I'm telling you?
Just calm down. We let him get you all upset for.
Calm down now. Let's try and keep it peaceful in here. Okay, whose turn is it? How about you?
I'll pass.
Okay, that's your privilege. How about the next gentleman?
I don't know. I mean, I started to be convinced, very early in the case. Look, I was looking for a motive. That's very important. If there's no motive, where's the case? So anyway, the testimony from the people across the hall from the boys' apartment, that was very powerful. I mean, didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy at about 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I could be wrong.
It was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right, 8 o'clock. They said they heard an argument, but they couldn't hear what it was about. Then they heard the father hit the boy twice, and finally they saw the boy walk angrily out of the house. What does that prove?
It doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just part of the picture. Look, I didn't say it proved anything.
Well, you said to reveal the motive for the killing. The prosecuting attorney said the same thing. Well, I don't think that's a very strong motive. I mean, this boy's been hit so many times in his life that violence is practically a normal state of affairs for him. You know, I can't see 2 hits in the face provoking him into committing murder.
It may have been 2 hits too many. We all have a break.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, how about the next gentleman?
Oh, me? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's practically all set already. I mean, the kid's 0 for 5. Look at his record. At the age of 10, he was in children's court for throwing a rock at his teacher. At 14, he was in reform school. He got arrested for stealing a car, for mugging, and he was picked up twice for trying to slash another teenager with a knife. Oh, he's real handy with the switch knives, they say. This is one fine boy.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I, a kid like that.
What did you call those beatings a motive for him to kill his father?
I don't know. It's a motive for him to be an angry kid, I'll say that.
It's the kids, the way they are nowadays. Angry, hostile. You can't do a damn thing with them. Just the way they talk to you. Listen. When I was his age, I used to call my father sir.
That's right, sir. You ever hear a kid call his father that anymore?
Fathers don't seem to think it's important anymore.
No? Have you got any kids?
2.
Yeah, well, I've got one. He's 20.
We did everything for that boy. And what happened? When he was 9, he ran away from a fight. I saw him. I was so ashamed. I almost threw up. So I told him right out, I'm going to make a man out of you, or I'm going to bust you in half trying. Well, I made a man out of him, all right. When he was 16, we had a battle. He hit me in the face. He's big, you know? I haven't seen him in 2 years. A rotten kid. You worked your heart out. All right. Let's get on.
I think we're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's the product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're here to decide whether he's guilty or innocent of murder, not to go into reasons why he grew up that way. He was born in a slum. Children from slum backgrounds are criminals. I know that, so do you, it's no secret. Children raised in slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society. Now, I think it's
Brother,
quite
you can
clear
say that again. Kids that crawl out of them places are real trash. I don't want any part of them, I'm telling you.
Well, now, I've lived in a slum all my life. I nursed that trash 6 nights a week in Harlem Hospital.
Oh, no,
I grew up in a backyard that was filled with trash. Maybe it still smells on me.
Now listen, buddy.
Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal.
There is something personal.
Hey. Come on now. He didn't mean you, fella. Let's not be so sensitive.
This sensitivity, I understand.
All right, let's stop all this arguing. We're wasting time here. It's your turn. Let's go.
Well, I didn't expect a turn. I thought you were all supposed to be convincing me. Wasn't that the idea?
Check. I forgot that.
Well, what's the difference? He's the one who's keeping us here. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Now, just a second. We decided to do it a certain way. Let's stick to what we said.
Now, stop being a kid, will ya?
A kid? Listen, what do you mean by that?
What do you think I mean? K-I-D kid.
What, just because I'm trying to keep this thing organized? Listen, you want to do it? Here, you sit here. You take the responsibility. I'll just shut up, that's all.
What are you getting so hot for? Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. Here's the chair. You keep it going smooth and everything, huh? What do you think, it's a snap? Come on, Mr. Foreman, let's see how great you'd run the show.
Did you ever see such a thing?
Oh, you think it's funny or something?
Now take it easy. The whole thing's unimportant.
Unimportant? You want to try it?
No, listen. You're doing a beautiful job. No one wants to change.
Yeah, you're doing great. Hang in there and bitch.
Come on, let's hear from somebody.
Well, if you want me to tell you how I'm feeling about it right now, it's all right with me.
I don't care what you do.
All right. Well, I don't have anything brilliant. I only know as much as you do. I mean, according to the testimony, the boy looks guilty. Maybe he is. Well, I sat there in court for 3 days listening while the evidence built up. I mean, everybody sounded so positive that I started to get a peculiar feeling about this trial. I mean, nothing is that positive. Gee, there were a lot of questions I would have liked to ask. Maybe they wouldn't have meant anything, I don't know, but I started to get the feeling that the defense counsel wasn't doing his job. He let too many things go, little things.
What little things? Listen, when these guys don't ask a question, that's because they know the answers already and they figure they'll be heard.
Maybe. It's also possible for a lawyer to be just plain stupid, isn't it?
Hey, sound like you met my brother-in-law.
I kept putting myself in the boy's place. I would have asked for another lawyer, I think. I mean, if I were on trial for my life, I'd want my lawyer to tear the prosecution witnesses to shreds, or at least to try. I mean, look, there was one alleged eyewitness to this killing. Someone else claims they heard the killing and then saw the boy running out afterward. There was a lot of circumstantial evidence, but actually, those 2 witnesses are the entire case for the prosecution. Supposing they were wrong.
What do you mean, supposing they were wrong? What's the point of having witnesses at all?
Well, could they be wrong?
They sat on the stand under oath. What are you trying to say?
Well, they're only people. People make mistakes. Could they be wrong?
No, I don't think so. so.
Do you know so?
Well, now listen, no one can know a thing like that. This isn't an exact science.
That's right, it isn't.
Oh, right, let's try to get to the point here. What about the switch knife they found in the father's chest?
Wait a minute, I think we ought to, well, there are some people who haven't talked yet.
They can talk whenever they like. Now just be quiet a second, will you? Okay. What about the knife?
You know, the one that fine, upright boy admitted buying on the night of the murder? Let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it. In fact, let's get it in here and take a look at it. I'd like to see it again. Mr. Foreman?
We all know what it looks like. What are we gonna get out of seeing it again?
Well, you brought it up.
The gentleman has the right to see exhibits and evidence. Now, the knife and the way it was body is pretty strong evidence, don't you think so?
I do.
Good. Now, suppose we take these facts one at a time. One, the boy admitted going out of the house at 8 o'clock on the night of the murder shortly after being punched several times by his father.
He didn't say punched. He said hit. There's a difference between a slap and a punch.
After being hit several times by his father. Two, the boy went directly to a neighborhood junk shop where he bought a, what do you call those?
Switch knife.
A switchblade knife, thank you. Three, this wasn't what you would call an ordinary knife. It had a very unusual carved handle. Four, the storekeeper who sold it to the boy identified that knife in court and said it was the only one of its kind he'd ever had in stock. Five, at about 8:45, the boy ran into three friends of his in front of a diner. Am I correct so far?
Yes, you are.
You bet he is. Now listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
The boy talked with his friends for about an hour, leaving them at 9:45. Now, during this time, they all saw the switch knife. 6, each of them identified the death weapon in court as that same knife. 7, the boy arrived home at about 10 o'clock. Now, this is where the stories offered by the boy and by the state began to diverge slightly. He claims that he stayed home and then went to one of those all-night movies, leaving the house about 11:30. He returned home at about 3:15 in the morning to find his father dead and himself arrested. Now, what happened to the switch knife? This is the charming and imaginative little fable the boy invented. He claims that the knife fell through a hole in his pocket sometime between 11:30 and 3:15 while on his trip to the movies, and that he never saw it again. This is a tale, gentlemen. I think it is quite clear the boy never went to the movies at all. Nobody saw him leave the house at 11:30. Nobody at the theater identified him. He couldn't even remember the names of the pictures he saw. What actually happened is this. The boy stayed home, had another fight with his father, stabbed him to death at 10 minutes after 12, and fled the house. He even remembered to wipe the knife clean of his fingerprints. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Are you asking us to believe that this knife really fell through a hole in the boy's pocket, was picked up by somebody off the street who went to the boy's house and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing?
No. I'm saying it's possible that the boy lost the knife and someone else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's possible.
Take a look at that knife. I have never seen one like it before, and neither had the storekeeper who sold it to the boy. Aren't you asking us to accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not asking anyone to accept it. I'm just saying it's possible.
And I'm saying it's not possible.
Hey, where did that come from?
How did you get that in here?
Who do you think you are?
Quiet, let's be quiet. Where did you get that knife?
I was walking last night for a couple of hours, just thinking, and I walked through the boy's neighborhood. That knife comes from a little pawn shop just 3 blocks from the boy's house. I paid $6 for it.
It's against the law to buy or sell a switchblade knife.
That's right, I broke the law.
Oh, listen, you pulled a real bright trick here. Now, suppose you tell me what you proved. Maybe there are 10 knives like that. So what?
Well, maybe there are.
So what does that mean? It's the same kind of knife. So what's that? The discovery of the age or something?
There would still be an incredible coincidence for another person to have stabbed the father using the same kind of knife.
That's right. He's right.
Now, the odds are about 1,000,000 to 1.
It's possible!
But not very probable.
Listen, let's take seats. There's no point in milling around here.
No, it's interesting that he would find a knife exactly like the one the boy bought.
What's interesting? You think it proves anything?
Well, no, I was just...
Interesting. Listen, how come the kid bought the knife to begin with?
Well, he claims he bought it
I
because
know. He claims he bought it as a present for a friend of his. He was gonna give it to him the next day because he busted the other kid's knife, dropping it on the pavement.
It's what he said.
Yeah, baloney.
Well, the friend testified in court that the boy did break his knife.
Yeah, and how long before the killing? 3 weeks, right? So how come our noble lad bought this knife 1/2 hour after his father smacked him, and 3.5 hours before they found it shoved up here in the father's chest?
Well, you know, he was gonna give the knife to his friend. He just wanted to use it for a minute.
Well, let me ask you this. It's one of the questions I wanted to ask in court. If the boy bought the knife to use on his father, how come he showed what's going to become the murder weapon to 3 of his friends just a couple of hours before the killing?
Listen, all of this is just talk. The boy lied, you know it.
He may have lied. Look, do you think he lied?
Now that's a stupid question. Sure he lied.
Do you?
You know my answer, he lied.
Do you think he lied?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure about what? Wait a second. What are you, the kid's lawyer or something? Who do you think you are? Start cross-examining us.
Isn't that what's supposed to happen in a jury room?
Listen, there are still 11 of us in here who think he's guilty.
Yeah, what do you think you're gonna accomplish? You're not gonna change anybody's mind. You know, if you wanna be stubborn and hang the jury, go ahead. But this kid will be tried again and found guilty just as sure as he's born.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So what are you gonna do about it? We could be here all night.
It's only one night. A boy may die.
Yeah, brother. Anybody got a deck of cards?
I don't think you ought to make a joke about it.
What do you want me to do?
Listen, I don't know what all this talk about the knife has to do with anything. Somebody saw the kid stab his father. What more do we need? Listen, I got 3 garages going to pot while you guys sit around talking. Let's get done and get out of here.
The knife was very important to the district attorney. He spent fun.
He was a 15th assistant or something. What the hell is he know?
Okay, I think we ought to move on with it now. These side arguments are only slowing us up. What about it?
Come on, you're the only one.
I have a proposition to make to all of you. I want to call for a vote. I want you 11 men to vote by secret written ballot. I'll abstain. If there's still 11 votes for guilty, I'll not stand alone. We'll take a guilty verdict into the judge right now. But if anyone votes not guilty, then we stay and we talk this thing out. That's all. If you want to try it, I'm ready.
Finally, you're behaving like a reasonable man.
Okay, let's do it. That sounds fair. Anybody doesn't agree? Okay, pass these along. Guilty. 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 Not guilty.
Boy, how do you like that?
Another goddamn chap. What's his wig?
All right, who was it? Come on, I want to know.
Excuse me, this was to be a secret ballot. We agreed on this.
Secret? What do you mean secret? There are no secrets in a jury room. I know who it was. Brother, you're really something. You come in here and vote guilty like everybody else, then this golden-voiced preacher over here starts to tear your heart out with stories about a poor little kid who just couldn't help becoming a murderer, so you change your vote. That isn't the most sick. Why didn't you drop a quarter in his collection box?
Now wait a minute, you can't just talk to me like that. I mean, where does he get the right to shout at me?
Let's just calm
Who does
down.
he think he is? I mean, did you see him?
Sit down. He's very excitable. Just forget it. It doesn't matter.
You bet I'm excitable. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs, and all of a sudden somebody's telling us fairy tales, and we're listening.
Take it easy.
What do you mean, take it easy? You feel like seeing a proven murderer walking the streets? Why don't we give him his knife back? Make it easier for him.
Okay, let's stop the yelling. Who's got something constructive to say?
Please, I would like to say something. I have always thought that in this country, a man was entitled to have unpopular opinions.
Stick to the subject. So how come you changed your vote?
He didn't change his vote. I did. Would you like me to tell you why?
No, I would not like you to tell me why.
Well, I'd like to make it clear anyway, if you don't mind.
Do we have to listen to this?
Hey, look, the man wants to talk.
Thank you.
This gentleman has been standing alone against us. He doesn't say the boy is not guilty, he just isn't sure. Well, it's not easy to stand alone against the ridicule of others. He gambled for support and I gave it to him. I respect his motives. The boy on trial is probably guilty, but I want to hear more. For the time being, the vote is 10-2. Hey, I'm talking here. You have no right to...
He can't hear you. He never will.
Well, if the speech is over, maybe we can go on.
I think we ought to take a break. One man's inside there, let's wait for him.
Looks like we're really hung up here. I mean, that thing with the old man was pretty unexpected. I wish I knew how we could break this up. You know, in advertising, I told you I worked for an ad agency, didn't I? Oh, there are some pretty strange people. Well, not strange, really. They just have peculiar ways of expressing themselves, you know what I mean? Well, it's probably the same in your business, right? What do you do?
I'm a watchmaker.
Really? The finest watchmakers come from Europe, I imagine. Anyway, I was telling you, in the agency, when we reach a point like this in a meeting, oh, I'm telling you, all hell breaks loose. There's always some character waiting and ready with an idea. And it kills me. I mean, it's the weirdest thing sometimes, the way they precede an idea with some sort of phrase. Like some account exec will say, here's an idea, let's run it up the flagpole and see if anybody salutes it. Or put it on a bus and see if it gets off at Wall Street. I mean, it's idiotic, but it's funny.
Look, I was a little excited. You know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty or anything.
So you a salesman?
I'm an architect.
You know what the soft sell is? You're pretty good at it, I'll tell you. Me, I got a different technique. Jokes, drinks, knock them on their asses. You know, I sold 27,000 in marmalade last year, which is not bad considering marmalade. So, what are you getting out of this? Kicks? I mean, come on, pal. The kid's guilty, so let's go home before we get a sore throat.
What's the difference whether you get one here or at the ball game?
No difference, pal. No difference at all.
Nice bunch of guys.
I guess they're the same as in.
Yeah, that loud, heavy-set guy, the one who was telling us about his kid, the way he was talking. Boy, that was an embarrassing thing.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, what a murderous day. Hey, look, you think we're going to be here much longer?
I don't know.
Look, he's guilty for sure. There's not a doubt in the whole world. We should have been done already. Hey, listen, I don't care. You know, if it's working. Do you think he's innocent?
I don't know. It's possible.
Listen, I don't know you, but I bet you've never been wronger in your whole life. But you gotta wrap it up. You know, you're wasting your time.
Suppose you were the one on trial.
Hey, I'm not used to supposing. I'm just a working man. My boss does the supposing. But I'll try one. Suppose you talk us all out of this and the kid really did knife his father.
Okay, let's take seats.
Looks like we'll be here for dinner.
Okay, let's get down to business. Who wants to start it off?
I
have
like a point I want to make. No, pardon.
Sorry, please.
Nah, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, ain't said.
Well, listen, I was going to say, well, look, it's a small thing, but anyway, well, the boy had a motive for the killing. You know, the beatings and all. So if he didn't do it, who did? I mean, who else had a motive? So that's my point. I mean, you don't just go out and kill someone without a motive. Not unless you're just plain nuts, right?
As far as I know, that we're just supposed to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives. That's a job for the police.
Very true, but we can't help letting the only motive we know of creep into our thoughts, can we? Nor can we help asking ourselves who else might have had a motive. Logically, these things follow. Now, this gentleman has asked a reasonable question. If it wasn't the boy, who else could have killed the father?
Majalowski.
Hey, you're talking about the man I love.
If you have nothing to add besides jokes, I suggest you listen.
Okay, it's just letting off steam. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, perhaps you can answer me. If it wasn't the boy, who else might have killed the father?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the father wasn't exactly a model citizen. The boy's lawyer outlined his background for us in his closing statements. I mean, he was in prison once. He was known to be a compulsive gambler and a pretty consistent loser. He spent a lot of time in bars, and he would get into fistfights sometimes after a couple of drinks, usually over a woman. He was a tough, cruel, primitive kind of man who never held a job for more than 6 months in his life. So here are a few possibilities. He may have been killed by any one of the many men he spent time with in prison. By a bookmaker. By a man he'd beaten up. By a woman he'd picked up. By any one of the many people he was known to hang out with.
That's the biggest load of crap I ever... Listen, we know the father was a bum, so what's that got to do with anything?
I didn't bring it up. I was asked who else might have killed him. I gave my answer.
That gentleman over there asked a direct question.
Everyone's a lawyer, huh?
Listen, suppose you answer this for me. The old man who lived downstairs said the boy yelled out, "I'm gonna kill him." A split second later, he heard a body hit the floor. Then he saw the kid run out of the house. Now, what does all that mean to you?
I was wondering how clearly the old man could have heard the boy's voice through the ceiling.
He didn't hear through the ceiling. His window was open, and so was the window upstairs. It was a hot night, remember?
The voice came from another apartment. It's not easy to identify a voice, especially a shouting voice.
He identified it in court. He picked the boy's voice out of 5 other voices blindfolded.
That was just an ambitious district attorney putting on a show. I mean, look, the old man knows the boy's voice very well. They've lived in the same house for years. But to identify him positively from the apartment downstairs, I mean, isn't it possible he was wrong? And maybe he thought the boy was upstairs, and he automatically decided that the voice he heard was the boy's voice.
I think that's a bit far-fetched.
Brother, you can say that again. Listen, the old man heard the father's body falling, then he saw the boy run out of the house. 15 seconds later, he saw the boy.
Jack, and don't forget the woman across the street. She looked right into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. I mean, isn't that enough for you?
Not right now, no, it's not.
Get a load of this guy, would you? It's like talking into a dead phone.
The woman saw the killing through the windows of a passing elevated train. The train had 6 cars. She saw the killing through the last 2 cars. She remembered the most insignificant details. Now, I don't see how you can argue with that.
Well, what have you got to say about it?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound right to me.
Well, suppose you think about it. Lend me your pencil.
Look, I wonder if anyone knows how long it takes an elevated train to...
Wait a minute, this isn't a game! Who do you think you are?
All right, take it easy.
Come on now, sit down.
I gotta quit my belt him one.
Now, please, I don't want any fights in here.
Did you see him? The nerve, the absolute nerve.
Just take it easy, it's not important. No?
This isn't a game. Who does he think he's dealing with
Calm
here?
down, it's all over. Let's take our seats.
What's all over? I want an apology.
Okay, Noisy, he apologizes. Now let's hear what the man has to say.
Thank you. I wonder if anyone has any idea how long it takes an elevated train moving at medium speed to pass a given point.
What's that got to do with
Come
anything?
on, take a guess.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
What do you think?
I don't know. About 10 or 12 seconds, maybe.
What's all this? That's a pretty fair guess. Anyone else?
It sounds right to me.
Come on, what's a guessing game?
What would you say?
10 seconds approximately.
All right, say 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
Well, just this. It takes a 6-car elevated train about 10 seconds to pass a given point. Now, say that point is the open window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach out that window and touch the yellow tracks right there. Isn't that right?
Right.
All right. Let me ask you this. Has anyone here ever lived right next to the yellow tracks?
Hey, I just got done painting an apartment that overlooked an L line. I'm a house painter, you know. I was there for 3 days.
What was it like?
What do you mean?
Was it noisy?
Brother. Hey, listen, it didn't matter, you know, we're all punching our business into it.
Well, I lived in a second-floor apartment right next to an L line once, with the window open and the train going by. You know, the noise is so unbearable you can't even hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. We get to the point.
All right, I will. Let's take 2 pieces of testimony and try and put them together. First, the old man in the apartment downstairs. Now, he says he heard the boy yell, "I'm going to kill you," and a split second later, he heard the body hit the floor. 1 second later, right?
That's right.
All right, second, the woman in the apartment across the street. Now, she claims she looked out her window and she saw the killing through the last 2 cars of a passing elevated train, right? The last 2 cars.
All right, what point are you
Now, just a
making?
minute. We agreed that it takes an elevated train about 10 seconds to pass a given point. Since the woman saw the stabbing through the last 2 cars, we can assume that the body fell to the floor just as the train passed by. Therefore, the train had been roaring past the old man's window for a full 10 seconds before the body fell. The old man, according to his own testimony, hearing, "I'm going to kill you," and the body hitting the floor a split second later, would have had to hear the boy make that statement with the yell roaring right past his nose. It's not possible he could have heard it.
That's idiotic. Sure he could have
Do
heard
you
it.
really think so?
The old man said the kid yelled it out. That's enough for me.
Well, if he heard anything at all, he still couldn't identify the voice with the yell roaring by.
We're talking about a matter of seconds here. Nobody can be that accurate.
Well, I think the testimony that can put a human being into the electric chair should be that accurate.